Not millions, but billions. $1.33 billion to be exact. That's how much Tottenham Hotspur spent to build their brand new stadium. It's not just the most expensive football ground in England, it's one of the most expensive in the entire world. Yet, the dreams didn't take root as they hoped. You'd think with that kind of money, Tottenham would have built a fortress, a place where trophies come home, where fans war in celebration, and where legends are made. But instead, what we've seen is something very different. A shiny stadium with no silverware to show for it. This is the story of how a dream project became a heavy burden. This is the costly failure of Tottenham's stadium. To understand what went wrong, we first need to understand what came before. For 118 years, White Hart Lane was home. It was raw, it was loud, it wasn't perfect, but it had soul, it had history. Generations of Spurs fans grew up watching their team from the tight, packed stands of the lane. They were legendary nights, unforgettable goals, fierce North London derbies. It felt alive. But football changed. Money took over. Clubs started building mega stadiums. Arsenal built the Emirates. West Ham moved to London Stadium. Tottenham didn't want to be left behind. They wanted something bigger, better, and modern. So they said goodbye to White Hart Lane after 2016-17 season. The dream was to build a world-class stadium that would make Spurs a European powerhouse. And you can say they didn't dream big. The new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium opened its doors in April 2019 with a match against Crystal Palace. With a capacity of 62,850, it became the largest club stadium in London and the second largest in the Premier League after Old Trafford. The design was cutting edge. A retractable pitch, a microbrewery inside the stadium, the largest single-tier stand in the UK, a roof held up by cables with 324 LED lights blasting down on the pitch. There are nearly 1,800 video screens throughout the place. And don't forget the 9-story glass wall in the south stand. If you're loving this insane stadium details, hit like. Let's see how many Spurs fans are watching. It can switch from Premier League football to NFL games in a matter of hours. That's right, the stadium was made to host American football with a deal signed with the NFL to hold 2 games a year in North London. There are bakeries, restaurants, skywalks, club museums, lounges, and everything you can imagine. It was built to be more than a stadium. It was supposed to be an experience. But for all the luxury, all the smart design, and all the bells and whistles, there's one thing the stadium hasn't seen: a trophy lift. Since moving into the stadium, the Spurs have spent 5 full seasons there. In that time, they've won nothing. Let that sink in. The final price tag of $1.33 billion, or about £1 billion, blew way past what Tottenham initially expected to spend. What started as an ambitious stadium project turned into one of the most expensive ventures in football history. And unlike some clubs that get in government backing or billionaire owners writing checks, Spurs had to fund this the hard way, through debt. The club didn't have £1 billion just sitting around, so they borrowed a lot. Loans, bonds, refinancing deals, whatever it took to get the stadium built. By the time the dust settled, Tottenham were saddled with long-term debt stretching decades into the future. To put this in perspective, it's more than what Arsenal paid for the Emirates, around $500 million. More than what Bayern Munich spent on the Allianz Arena, which is roughly about $375 million at the time. It's in the same league as some of the massive NFL stadiums in the US, which are built to host everything from Super Bowls to WrestleMania. And now Tottenham pays tens of millions every year just to service that debt. That includes interest payments, financial charges, and repayments that chip away at the club's flexibility. It's money that could have gone to new signings, higher wages, better facilities for players, but instead it's tied up in loans. This financial burden doesn't just sit on the books. It seeps into everything the club does. Transfers become tighter, risks become scarier, every decision is weighed against the need to stay afloat. The stadium was supposed to power the Spurs forward, but right now it's holding them back. While clubs like Manchester City and Chelsea splash out on top talent, Spurs have had to be more cautious. Big signings have been rare, and even when they've spent money, the result haven't justified the price. Think of the transfer that flopped. Think of the managers who came and went. That's the true cost of the stadium. Not just the money, but the years lost without success. Another part of the problem is the match day experience. Going to a match at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium isn't cheap. A standard ticket can cost anywhere from $145 to $440, depending on where you sit and who Spurs are playing. That's just for one game. For context, at many other Premier League clubs, you can get in for less than half that. Some even offer season tickets for less than what one top-tier seat at Spurs costs for 90 minutes. Of course, you're getting more than just football. There's craft beer and tap, an in-house bakery, gourmet food stalls, and super-fast Wi-Fi. The toilets are clean, the screens are massive, the design is sleek. But for a lot of fans, that's not the point. They didn't fall in love with football for luxury. They came for the noise, the chaos, the passion, the things that money can't buy. Since moving into the stadium, the manager's seat has been more like a revolving door. Mauricio Pochettino was the man in charge when the stadium opened in 2019, but he was sacked later that year. Jose Mourinho came in bringing his usual mix of experience and headlines, but he didn't deliver a trophy either. After him, Spurs brought in Nuno Espirito Santo and Antonio Conte. Both didn't last long. And more recently, Australian coach Ange Postecoglou took over in 2023, bringing a fresh style and a bit of optimism. He's known for attacking football and straightforward talk, and fans are slowly warming to him. On the pitch, the club has seen major shifts too. Harry Kane, the club's all-time top scorer and face of the team, left in 2023 for Bayern Munich. That hit hard. He was more than a goal machine. He was the heartbeat of the club. Now players like Son Heung-min, James Maddison, Christian Romero, and new striker Richarlison are trying to carry the weight. There's talent at the Tottenham, but the pressure is massive. Fans have stuck with the club through every up and down, yet it's been 17 years since the last trophy. The 2008 League club until they finally won the 2024-25 Europa League. With a stadium built to bring in money, from corporate guests to tourists, that plan worked. Spurs now earn among the highest matchday revenues in England. But all that cash meant nothing without results. Now expectations have soared, and what they need above all is the kind of inspiring victories that actually match the hype. But there's a trade-off. The atmosphere has changed. The raw energy of White Hart Lane has been replaced with something polished. The South Stand tries to bring back the roar, but it's not quite the same. It feels like a football match and more like a packaged experience. Fans pay more but get less passion, less connection, and less identity. Part of the stadium's appeal was that it wasn't just for football. NFL games bring in big crowds and big money. Concerts, boxing matches, and other events fill up the calendar. For the club's board, it's a win. More events mean more revenue. But for football fans, it feels like Spurs forgot what really matters. Tottenham Hotspurs is a football club, not a concert venue, not an NFL partner. It looks more business than trophies right now. And well, that's things. There's no doubt the stadium is a technical marvel in terms of engineering and design. It's brilliant. But the bigger question is, was it worth it? In chasing a spot among Europe's elite, Tottenham built a castle, but forgot to bring the crown. They've lost their soul, their momentum, their place among the top clubs. Fans used to dream of glory, now they argue about managers, transfers, and rising ticket prices. The stadium didn't deliver what was promised. It didn't bring the silverware. It didn't turn Spurs into a winning machine. It just made them look richer, not stronger. To be fair, it's not too late. A stadium this good can be a foundation, but it needs the right leadership, the right players, and a winning mentality. If the club stops treating the stadium like a trophy and starts building a team worthy of playing in it, then things may change. For a sport with the richest history, with legends like Maradona, Messi, and Ronaldo at the heart, Tottenham Hotspur has had high potency for being remembered, not for glory, but for building the most beautiful failure football has ever seen. Was Tottenham's stadium really worth the billion, or is it just another vanity project dressed up as progress? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, give us a like and share it. And if you're curious why some countries are now spending $21 billion just to build airports on the sea, go check out our last video. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next.